Universal Awesome Toys, I'm back here, and we have the Shi No Numa Easter Egg Series Episode 2 for you guys, and I'm going to have a whole bunch of dissections on this one, so let's get right into it. As you can see here, we have the loading screen, and it's a version of the map, but we can see the crease. I want to point out as we go through each of these from the blackout loading screens that it seems to be a book or a comic or some kind of paper material that all the maps are shown on, and you can see how it folds in the middle like it's a story being told. And it's a very open to interpretation for what that means, but I am really interested to see what it does mean. Next Easter egg is the Hanging Man. Many have thought this to be Peter because we have found his grave in the iTouch version of this game, and he seems to be missing an arm, just like the arm that was on the Vura power switch. As the games go on, there's more arms on the power switches, so it became less and less part of the story. But as you can see, next to him is actually what looks like a parachute, so he might have parachuted in, and that's how he hung himself on this area. So it's very up in interpretation whether he hung himself because zombies were going to get him, or if he was parachuting in to try and save the people at this outpost. As you can see here, it clearly looks like he has a backpack in from a paratrooper, and then the rope isn't really around his neck, it's on his back. So many of tried to say back and forth either way that he hung himself, but clearly it's not around his neck, so maybe he just died there from starvation. This next Easter egg can be found in the comm room or the communication room, and this is how they would communicate with the different facilities at Group 935. And as you can see, there was the Nazi influence in here, as you see the eagle with the Nazi cross in its claws and talons on the piece of paper here. As we see that, that brings us back to Nocturne Toten, where we saw it plastered all over the bins and boxes where they were shipping their materials to experiment on people and create the zombies. So we know for sure that the Nazis were involved in Shi No Numa in some form or another when Dr. Richtofen was there and part of Group 935. The next part of the Easter eggs that we have is Tunguska. It's actually located in the area. I think I showed you it. If not, I'm sorry, but it's in a little house outside of the map. It is ridiculously hard to actually go see this with the BTRS, but Tunguska was an event in which a meteor hit Earth, and from what I read about it, close to the power of the first atomic bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima. So it's a pretty big explosion. This was in Russia, which will come up on your screen right about now, in these locations. So you can actually maybe guess that Tunguska was where Call of the Dead happened, because the Tunguska event hit in Siberia, in Russia, and that's where we got our meteor of Element 115. That was just a massive, massive support of it, according to zombie lore. So, kind of neat that you get that extra history perspective as well. Something new you can see by the comm room Shi No Numa is the tower that we also saw in Nocturne Toten, or similar ways. So you can make an argument that Nock and Shi No Numa were communications in some way, and they were actually part of the storyline. Nock, anyway. This is just interesting because it's all the papers all around the desk in the comm room, and it's all sorts of just like information, stuff that you can't decode because it's too blurry, but it's kind of there's one spot on the map which might be showing the exact location of where they are. It kind of looks like a map of Shi No Numa's outpost. It kind of looks like that on the map, but then again, it could be anywhere that I really don't know. Lots of telegrams back and forth between what looked like the Imperials and the Nazis, and you could, again, they sided with each other during World War II as the Axis powers, so you definitely would have saw back and forth these scientists working together, even though there was defectors because of the war. So that's really cool. What would it be without our teddy bear, our mystery box teddy bear? We're really getting our first solid look at the teddy bear. Before, we only got to see it like buried under a deep ash pile where 3 seconds after the box would disappear in Vuruk. Instead, now we have it right in the box, blatantly in our faces, is our Samantha storyline. And it's, an Easter egg in itself. And also the Japanese writing, which I have no idea how to decode Japanese writing. Even if it is, could be Korean or Chinese for all I know. So if any of you guys know what that is, tell me in the comments below, because I would love to know what those boxes say. A cool location of help and the butcher knife. We saw the butcher knife that was just on the table on the left in Varuk, and see right there. But on the floor is help, as we've seen, and every single map has had help somewhere on the ground. Kind of like a now a recurring Easter egg, like this song Easter egg, that these are always written in chalk somewhere somehow. Now I'm going to hit you with a boatload of Easter eggs here. They're going to be coming pretty fast. They're not really that impressive that you would want to go long in depth about them. But here's just a poster. Kind of talks about what would be good use for a test subject. It talks about skeletons and what is attached. You know how Bertoffen always says the brains will no longer be useful and stuff like that. It's kind of a little blurb, and it's not actually that clear to read, but maybe certain copies are better. There's also sleeping bags throughout Shi No Numa where you can tell many people were working. And I mean, it's a very large access of patients that they were experimenting on or other people. As well, there's the maggots on the floor that you see them. I just passed it right there. You'll see a good look at them in a second because the maggots are an absolute issue in this game. You can see them right there now. That's a much better look. And it's just the maggots crawling back and forth, all kinds of gross stuff. It's on paper and blood. And you see it in the loading screen talking about maggot-ridden corpses. There's also the hash marks on the walls that are like numbers 17, 15. And we're not really sure exactly what those mean. I have mentioned them in the past. And we're still trying to figure out what that was actually meaning, maybe the amount of days someone was trapped or whatnot. Look up to see the light. That was our first time the game was telling us that we could find the box by staring up at the light in the sky. And there is actual lettering on the box that, you know, it's up to your interpretation of what you see it as. And it's really neat if you guys, maybe there's an actual secret to the box that's been stapled on it the entire time that we never knew about. But that's going to do it for our Easter egg series for episode 2 of Shi No Numa. I think I will have enough for episode 3. I'll have a little bit more, and that will be that. I hope you guys did enjoy this episode. Please leave a rating because it helps me out so much because I put so much effort into this. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.